It's tough, that angle.
Alright, hold on. Let's start. What's up, guys? Nah, let me start again.
What's up, guys? What's up, guys?
Alright, man, we about to get into this this Venom review. Just watched it fresh off the press. We're gonna lay some ground rules real quick for the review, so niggas could watch what they need to listen to, hear what they need to hear. So first, we're just gonna go around. Let's talk about just generalities. What you thought of it. No spoilers. No like.
Fuck that. Just say spoiler alert, man. If
Nah,
you feel that passionate.
I think the original initial thoughts, and then after we get to the breakdown,
after we get to the breakdown, then we're gonna break your shit for
right.
everybody. Right? So, so general thoughts. Anybody want to start first? Remember generalities. What you thought about the movie? Would you buy? I mean, would you pay for it? Bootleg it? Like, what you think? Jeff, let's just go.
Tuck that away, man. We recording.
You recording?
Yeah, we live right now.
Live.
Let's go. Young Tex.
We live.
Young Tex.
I liked it. I really did. I enjoyed it. I tried to go in with an open mind because I know that like everyone was saying like it was trash and whatnot, but I enjoyed it. Like, if I had to compare it to to Marvel movies, it's definitely not up to par. You know.
But was it a good movie?
But it was. I wasn't bored. I wasn't like oh, hurry up, what the fuck's going on? You know. Like,
Right.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
So you would tell them to go see it, or would you tell them to wait for DVD, Blu-ray?
I say go see it. Go see it.
Go see it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good.
Okay. That's a good review then. All right. Prestigious.
All right. This is how I feel. Originally, I said I was gonna fart on it. I think it was not as bad as everybody said it was.
Okay.
But as a movie-wise, it was like very bad. Like there's very bad. Like the pacing was like way too fast. So I feel like there's a lot of scenes missing. Because I also heard that there was like 40 minutes cut from the movie so that they could actually get a PG-13 rating. So like I feel like they suffered because of that.
I was saying that to my wife the entire time.
Yeah, like there was like things that just I'm not gonna get into it right now, but there's a lot of parts that like feel like there's stuff missing.
Yeah.
And then but like I said, it wasn't as bad as everybody said. It wasn't horrible by any means, but it definitely was at a place like it should have came out. If it came out like around the time when the original Spider-Man movies came out, I'd be like, yo, this is fire. But like now it's so-so. And as far as like recommendations, go ahead and see it because it's not bad to go see. Like, go right ahead and see it. It's worth the money. But also, like for me personally, it would be a movie that like if it's on FX on the weekend, that's what I'd rather watch it on FX.
Yeah, it's definitely an FX
like
movie.
It's like if it's FX and I have a beer,
that's the best description. Like, that's definitely an FX movie.
It's not something I'd rush out to go see. I'm not gonna buy the DVD, but like if it comes on on FX one night, I'll watch it again.
Okay. Diligent.
That shit. Nah, that's a movie that I would add to my collection. You know, like I personally, like I'm not really into the comic shit like that, but for like an outside, I'm not really that deep into the comics like y'all. So for me, that shit was pretty good to me. You know, I feel like when they had like the PG-13, like when you said when they cut some parts out.
Oh,
I like how they kept it raw.
See.
I like that.
Without me going too deep, that was the one thing I did notice. I'm looking at it straight from a director's standpoint.
Yeah.
The foreshadowing, I love it. I just have fun with it now. Like you can't surprise me in the movie no more.
Right.
Which is boring to me
it's like
now.
Me with horror, yeah.
Yeah, I'm so into it. Looking at it from a director's standpoint.
It's predictable. Especially from like an outsider that don't know that story. It was more predictable for me.
Yeah, you could tell they from a comic book standpoint, they cut that legit, like right there. I said, they somebody edited out that entire scene right there. And just the responses and stuff.
Well, not even just that. It felt like there was scenes missing. Like there should have been something that led into another thing. Exactly. But like I said, I'll get into it later.
Go, Judah.
It wasn't garbage, man. I was coming in thinking
you thought it was gonna be hot.
I thought it was gonna be hot trash, garbage truck leakage. You know what I'm saying? Juice off the back. It wasn't Catwoman at all.
It was.
Yeah, I don't know why they started that rumor. It was not that bad.
It was 10 times better than Green Lantern.
It was better than Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I think it's somewhere. It was somewhere in the middle.
It was better. Oh, hold on. It was better than a lot of DC movies.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Better than all the DC movies besides Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I didn't like the pacing, the story. I didn't like at all. We'll get into it, but this is everybody knows it's not really a spoiler. You know, Spider-Man's not in the movie, and you could tell like it suffered because of that. Because the story that they created wasn't really that good. So, I would.
It wasn't that bad.
wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was mediocre, but it was fun. I wasn't bored. I definitely feel like I got my money's worth. So I would suggest if you ain't have nothing to do and you wanted to go see a movie, and go see Venom. Like, it's not something that you're gonna be like, damn, I should have wasted my money. Like when you went to go see Justice League and you spent 3 hours in the movie theater. It was like, yo, I could have been, you know what I'm saying, like jerking off or something. Like that movie was,
versus
you know what I'm
Superman?
saying?
Nah, yeah, it
bad.
wasn't a rip-off. It wasn't a waste of money. I
Yo,
didn't want to
the
rip off.
quality
So-
of weed that I burned through to go see that shit, I was so disappointed.
Yeah, so
I said, yo, I wasted some good money. Like,
so
like
this wasn't
not $50 an 8 shit.
this wasn't that. It was a good time. It was a good movie. You should go check it out. You should, you know what I'm saying? If you don't want to spend the money, definitely buy it on Blu-ray or something like that. So I guess it gets a thumbs up for me.
Well, I personally feel that movie was a lot better than what I anticipated, for one. Two, I love the relationship that they captured between Eddie Brock and Venom.
Facts.
Masterful. That showed so much range, depth. They took some time to think. They didn't want to straight shit on a comic book perspective. They didn't want to straight up shit on a person that wanted something out of the movie, out of the entire, like, it gave it more substance, and it showed his range again as an actor. I enjoyed it because, you know,
Yeah, Tom Hardy did a good job, man.
Tom
Hardy
Hardy
did a good
did
job.
good with definitely what he had. I felt that there was huge chunks missing out of the story due to the fact that, you know, you had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich without butter. You had a peanut
I
butter
don't
and
think
jelly
that was
sandwich
his
without
fault,
peanut
though.
butter.
Like, he
No.
definitely-
That's what I said. He did the best.
definitely-
He
yeah,
did
He
the
did the
best.
best what he
best.
was doing because, like, definitely you could tell the script wasn't very good. Like, all the actors, like, the acting was all over the place. Like, he was the saving grace of the movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
he was the entire
'Cause
movie.
If he wasn't
that
in it,
Eddie Brock and Venom relationship was like,
yeah, like, if he wasn't in it, I just kind of feel like it wasn't really working. Like, I was like, okay, I just want to go back to this. Like, I didn't really care about the other stuff going on around him.
right. Well, let's get into it. Listen, you know what I'm saying? We all gave it a thumbs up. Everybody could agree. Thumbs
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
Go see it.
and I give it a thumbs up. Not a must see, but just you should go see it.
Check on it.
Yeah, go see it.
a,
Go see it.
It's a 5.5
It's not as
out of
bad
10.
as what everybody else say. So
3 stars.
You know what I'm saying? If you
Rotten
haven't seen
Tomatoes
it,
shitted on it.
if you haven't seen the movie, go
Nah,
see
It's
it.
like 3 stars.
Pause this right now because then we're about to get into the spoilers. You know what I'm saying? Everything that happened in the movie, all the story beats. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it, come back, and we're going to be here. So. Now, if you have watched it and you're still here, let's get into the nitty gritty. What y'all liked about the story, the villains, like, you know what I'm saying, the tackle, whatever y'all want to tackle, whatever y'all want to talk about. Like.
Yeah, we was talking about it, like the villain, the guy.
Right.
No,
Carnage?
not even Riot. He's talking about the
Oh,
guy.
the
Drake.
Drake,
Drake,
Yeah.
yeah. What about him?
Like, he was he was very one-dimensional. I get it, because he's like kind of like he was like an evil Elon Musk. Like, if you want to think about it, like, he was like just a scientist that, like, has no emotion,
A couple people
stuff
said
like that. But, like, I kind of felt like when he had the Riot symbiote, like, he should have been more like when he was, like, you know, in Eddie's face and stuff like that, like looking for Venom. He should have got more angry. Like, he was still just, oh yeah, humans are weak. Like, I wasn't feeling his performance at all.
Predictable.
Yo,
Like, in the beginning, I
that's what
did
was
before
saying. Tom
he
Hardy
got
did
the
his
Riot
thing.
symbiote, because it made sense. But then once he got it, he should have showed more range. Like,
Yeah, because the symbiote is supposed to,
Yeah, it's supposed
you're
to
supposed to take on
amplify
the
your
traits
anger, yeah.
of that. So for him to still be like cool,
Real reserved.
and
Yeah,
then,
it shouldn't have made any
and then
sense.
come
It
out
didn't
as
make any
right, that
sense.
doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
it didn't
Like,
make any sense.
Those are one of the things that, and it was all throughout this movie. The story is bad. Let's just keep it a buck. The story is bad. It's a fun movie, but the story is bad.
That's the worst part about
Like,
the movie.
this-
It's the story.
Nothing about the
That is
story.
the-
I
that
was
is the
like,
worst part
I
about
was
the
scratching
movie,
my
is the
head about it,
story.
like how the first symbiote got loose and then was going from person to person, but that ended up being Riot. And it's like, why wasn't it rampaging all throughout?
what made no sense
It
too?
didn't make any sense.
What made no sense too is like it took 6 months for the lady in whether China or whatever to get to the airport to get to the little girl. That made no sense either.
Yeah, that was stupid.
And it was the
All
same,
right,
same
all right.
lady. Like, I can understand if it passed from
I-
person
I
to
have-
person
I
to
have
eventually
even- I
make
have
it there,
even
but
bigger
that didn't
question.
happen.
I have even bigger
So I didn't
question.
realize that either.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
How did Eddie Brock ended up fired from the Daily Bugle that's in New York and San Francisco?
Well, that's the story change. He wasn't
Well,
at the Daily Bugle.
The comic that it was based off of called Lethal Protector, that's why Spider-Man needed to be there. he eventually did go to San Francisco because like him and Spider-Man made this pact where it's like, okay, we'll leave each other alone, but you have to get as far away from me as possible. So he moved to San Francisco. So like that's why he was in San Francisco.
But to not take it too much into Spider-Man because he's not in this movie.
Okay.
So we gotta judge it as what we have. Spider-Man wasn't in this movie. I don't know if he's ever going to be in one of those movies because with all that stuff they got going on.
Well, see, not because of the ending, the very ending, the extra scene that we stood for. If we didn't stay for that extra scene, I would have never even thought that they was going to make any more money off of this. I thought they was going to take these proceeds and then sell it.
I think, like you said, the villain was one note. He was real fucking mustache twisting. Like, we're gonna send a rocket to the space.
We're gonna send a rocket to
Go
space.
say a rocket to space when you don't do no motherfucking like research about what the fuck is going on up there, and then you got random fucking symbiotes killing random bums off the street. Nobody's looking into that, like biting heads off and shit. It was just
another
real.
thing that bothered me too. When they bite the heads off, there was no blood in this movie at all. Like even
None.
like
I noticed
None.
that too.
Not a drop.
they should have like when his girl got the symbiote, and she bit the dude's head off right in front of his face. There was no blood at all, and that was point blank. They showed the whole thing. There should have been some blood.
So how do y'all feel? Y'all think this should have been PG-13 or rated R?
Shorty even said, "I bit a guy's head off." I'm like, where?
I feel like it could have been rated. They should have been rated R, and it would have been a way better movie.
Should have kept it raw.
Yeah.
Can
And
we,
also,
can
another
we,
thing.
Can we have a true argument about a lot of us getting robbed off of movies not being rated what they should be rated? Just because they want to make a bigger profit.
You think it should be rated R?
Yeah, definitely. Like you need to compete with Marvel. Like Marvel's a competition. You need all that.
This is going to tell me if the movie's going to be good or not. You can't not have Carnage in that movie and it's not rated R. It's
That's
not
very
going
true.
to work. Carnage is a serial killer. He kills on sight.
He killed his
Viciously.
grandma at the age of 10.
But they
Like,
need that blood in there.
They need blood.
You need that.
Carnage, you need blood. You need people to
Carnage
die.
is
Violence.
carnage.
Like,
Violence.
yeah, exactly. You need
I worse
violence.
than Venom.
Violent.
And
Violence.
I don't understand why they made it PG-13. I really don't.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Make that money.
It didn't make
Bring more
sense.
kids there. You
But,
know, more
Exactly.
but what's the
ticket
name? What's the name? Made money. What the fuck
Deadpool.
was?
That's because it was
Deadpool-
masterfully done.
That Venom, it should have been like, because I seen it too. There was like a little bit of aspects to it. I think it could have been a horror movie, and it would have been way better if it was like an R-rated horror movie, a horror
That would have been
comic
perfect
book action
timing
movie
right now.
like a horror action movie. That would have been really good.
That's
Would
true.
have been.
Because there were certain scenes like when he first went to the Life Foundation, he saw like the homeless lady that like was selling him the papers, which like that made no sense. Like I felt no connection to that character whatsoever. But anyway, like when she like jumped out at him like, oh, let me out, it's me, whatever. That was like if the whole movie was in that tone, it would have been way better.
Yeah, this is pure
That's true.
trash filmmaking. Like they introduce a character just to be taken over by the symbiote and be killed. Like that's the only reason why she was in the movie.
There was no
Like,
other
for
reason
her
for
to
that
be-
character
They
to be
showed
there.
her two scenes, yo. She
Twice.
was down there. She sold them the paper, made a side hustle. I'm like, yo, you only showed Shorty for fucking 2 scenes.
They showed that
How am I
shit.
Yeah, they
supposed
did
to
force
know?
I
that
like
shit.
that.
You saw that.
I like the technique.
No,
that
no,
they
no,
used.
no, no, no,
It
no.
was forced though.
Yo, yo,
See, like
yo,
when she
yeah, it was
usually
forced.
sits,
It was
right?
stupid.
If there was
Hold on,
another
hold on,
scene in
y'all-
between where they showed them like actually take her off the streets, like kidnap her, then I'd feel more emotionally
Not
invested
even
in that
that.
character.
This is what I'm saying. My overall point of the whole thing is, you didn't even show the real relationship. You showed her there once. Then the next time she wasn't there. What the fuck that mean to me?
I thought she went out to
You
the
should have
bathroom
showed that
or
at least
something,
over a
like-
week.
Yeah, they
didn't
just
show
showed
like
a
a
couple.
a couple of
relationship
times in a
between
day.
them.
You
They should have
understand what
had.
I'm
They should have
saying?
had at least 2 or 3 more scenes.
Exactly.
with-
Another
with
thing
them
too,
going
like
back
No
They
and
character,
forth.
yo, that
established
character
friendship.
development was so
Right.
poorly done because the movie was at such a high pace, and that's another thing I'm not liking about movies. They make the action, since they make action so high paced. Like you ever notice like a fight scene, you'll never see the punch going to the person's face unless they over dramatically slow it down. But next you know that nigga got knocked out. I'm like, yo,
I actually,
man,
I
they just
actually
doing it too
disagree
fast.
with y'all about the pace. I didn't think the pacing was good at all because for like at least 30, so almost 40 minutes in, we didn't get to Venom. Like I hate origin stories that just give us a whole bunch of fluff and bullshit. Like, you killing Spider-Man? Like, what's up with
I
you,
don't
man?
like that shit, yo.
Come on, man.
I don't like that shit. Yo, look at this nigga. You just
One thing
can't
I
see
did like though
symbiotes.
is that in most like comic book movies, superhero movies, and do origin, the character gets their powers, then like they do maybe one thing, like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. How do I do this? And then like the rest of the movie, they know what's going on, like they mastered it somehow.
Exactly.
I like the fact that like when Venom took over Eddie, like he really didn't know what was going on. He's like, I'll take care of this. So it's like that happened the entire movie. He wasn't really in control of how.
But then again, like I said, with the pacing, that lasted for one scene, and then he was a master after.
Not really, because Venom was the one
Venom,
who was in
They
control.
was blatantly explaining
but this is why that doesn't make sense. Everyone else who got the Venom suit, as you showed, they didn't have that mastery of it. Like it was killing them. So
what about Riot?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
the
the
two characters that needed to have mastery over it, they granted mastery over
What I
it.
think
Real
it
quick,
is, what I think
where was
it is,
Drake's moment where he was battling with the suit?
What I think what happened was, again, I
that
think there
shit.
was missing scenes, and I think like what they're trying to get at was if the symbiote accepts you, it won't eat you from the inside. Because remember, like he was like, they made it explicit. He's like, oh, we need to eat. Like your liver's looking really juicy right now. And then they were saying like, oh, the homeless guy, like they made mention like, oh, he has acute liver disease or something like that. So I think like what it is like if the symbiote actually wants to be with you, it doesn't eat you from the inside.
I get that part,
But it just wasn't explained in the movie though.
The
I didn't know what you're
mastery
saying.
of the
Yeah.
techniques using, like first of all, like I mean, if you can't really get into the weeds of it because, like I said, it's not that story. But comic book fans know Riot as to being a prodigy or a son of Venom.
Has to be an offspring.
So even though Riot is stronger, Venom is more experienced. So for him to latch on to Drake and then him be the best of Venom doesn't make sense. The only way Riot ever bested Venom was in a group of his peers. So see what I'm saying? So it's like, and I get what you're saying. It's like they cut so much shit out. They had to hurry up and get to the. There's a lot of shit
They're
that
trying
they
to get
did.
to a lot of meat and potatoes.
Yeah,
Kiss
then
on
they
it for a
spent
little while.
30 minutes going nowhere in the beginning. Like,
That's a
Well, this is
fact.
another thing too.
That's
with
why I
the other
hate-
scientist, the girl, like I don't even think they said her name. The one that like gave Eddie the information.
I think it was Miss Skirt.
Yeah, something like that.
yeah. So stupid.
Like when he was sitting there talking to her in the
Her
store,
skirt.
like that made no sense. I feel like there should have been a scene before, like with her following him to the store.
Exactly. She
Yeah,
popped
where
out
was
of
she
Talking,
nowhere.
like, it just popped up out of nowhere because he's like, "Oh,
That
I
was
was a
crazy.
reporter. I had to follow people and not be seen, but you suck." I'm like,
And she
where
came
did she
out of
come
nowhere,
from?
like,
Like,
who
I kind of
the fuck
feel
is
like they
that?
should have been
Who
like,
is that? Like,
like they should at least showed her like following him for a little while. Like that would have made more sense. Like it just made no sense right there. There's a lot of choices that didn't make any sense. I feel like I said, there was scenes cut. Like there should have been something happening before that.
I don't
Probably
even
was.
Now
remember.
Like,
Blu-ray
you know,
gonna be fire. That's what I'm
What's up?
thinking. Now Blu-ray, when all the deleted scenes.
They might not even do that because a
That
lot of
Blu-ray
movies
gonna
now
be
they're not
fire.
putting in all the deleted scenes that they took out.
I don't even remember seeing her in the lab when he was up in there.
Nah,
You
she
know what I'm
was. She
saying?
was.
She was there, but she was in the back.
there. She was there the whole time. She was there the whole
Right?
time.
She was in
They
the
didn't
back.
even have like no small combo. It was just.
They did. Briefly, that's what I'm saying. They was pushing it so fast.
Yeah, it was just the pacing
Everything
was
slowed
way
down.
too fast
Everything
to
slowed
really
down.
catch up to what was going on.
What did y'all think about the main actress? I thought she was like a cardboard box.
I didn't
She
feel
was
like
trash, bro.
I didn't feel like they had a
Talking about
romantic.
the main love interest.
Yeah, they didn't have a romantic connection. Like I didn't feel like they were, like he didn't really seem like somebody who like just got broken up with, and like with her, like they didn't seem like they even went out with each other. There was no chemistry.
Nah,
I didn't like the chemistry.
I think the reason why I like it, I hate how they always want to force the love on the screen, and then like now that we married men and shit, like nigga, they don't love each other. She
No, that's
moved on
what I
that
mean.
fast.
There was
Don't love each
there was no
other.
chemistry. at all.
That shit, the 6 months time period.
Yo,
fucked the
shit
whole
was
story
going
up
on
for
too
me.
fast
Yeah.
for me, yo.
All this shit in the 6
Shit
month
was
time
going
period.
on
I'm
too
like,
fast
Then she was
for me,
already
yo.
with the new
Nigga
guy
said
who had a
6
key to her
months. I was like, yo,
apartment.
I know niggas move fast nowadays, but that's too fast.
Oh, there was one more thing
He
too
got the
that I
keys
think
to the house. and
Yo,
everything.
a key.
There was one
Because
more
he a
thing, too.
doctor? Nah, my
that I
nigga.
think everybody forgot to mention. A lot of things were dated in that movie too. Like when they did the ET things, like oh ET phone home, like that was a really dated reference. The cat,
Yeah.
Mr. Belvedere, like nobody who's went to go see this movie aside from our
you know
age
what?
group
I
will
didn't catch
remember
none of that shit. That's probably why how
that's
trash it
what
was.
I'm
Like he said,
I didn't
Mr.
catch
Belvedere,
that.
like
No.
anybody.
Mr.
We're the youngest
Belvedere.
generation that would know who Mr. Belvedere is. You
Good
probably
job
don't
That's
know
on
who
true.
that.
he is.
None of them kids want to
Exactly.
see that.
They're not gonna know who
Nope.
Mr. Belvedere is.
So just for the camera.
And then
who the hell
like
is Mr.
he's sitting there, like looking
No,
at
for the
looking
kids
for a
at
job.
home. I mean, for the
He's
cameras,
looking for a
the kids at
job
home.
on the with the newspaper.
Them young niggas.
But he had a cell phone. Like nobody looks at the
Yeah, why the
newspaper.
fuck
That's
was he
such a
looking in
cliche
the newspaper
thing.
for?
You could go like now.
Like,
Like,
that shit
nowadays
didn't
they
make
have
no
a cell
sense
phone.
now
They
that
go
I
on
think about
Indeed and all that. Like they
Like-
know that. That's why I feel like this movie is very out. There's a lot of dated references in the movie, like dated things.
Yo, that shit was so 90s.
Even more.
But-
His-
and
But
now-
he had a cell phone though. He could just go on Indeed or something.
And another one,
Smartphone, too.
another one where he got fired for not revealing his source. Like, where do they do that at? What newspaper
ever would
is going to tell you, like, oh, you got to tell me what the source is?
I was like,
Usually
yo,
they tell you, like, you know, you're supposed to be
as long as you're not a
anonymous.
comic book fan, this movie's the shit.
Yo, you
You're
see
a
how
comic
it
book
got
fan,
me.
it ripped you up.
But you know what I understand? You saw like when he got the info from his girl, right? He get it from a girl, like he went through the files and all that in the computer.
Right,
He got
and
the
he
info
still
from
took
the
her
girls.
down. Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, if he didn't mention her, she introduced her ex to her new man as, yeah, he took me down too. How did he take it down if he didn't say her name? They ain't show that part.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
She said, yeah, he took me down.
But she said
I
she
was
told
one of
him.
them.
No, but she said she told him.
She told them? But
She told him.
Told who?
She ain't tell him.
She told her boyfriend. Because remember when they first introduced the scene,
Oh,
she was
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
"Oh, I heard a lot about you."
Yeah, that's true.
He was like, "Oh,
Right, but
you
he
told
didn't
him?
know. But he didn't know that he took her down, though. You know,
Who didn't
made
know?
her lose. The doctor. The
Yeah,
surgeon.
because she told him. She the very
She
first thing
did
he
say
said.
that, I guess.
The very
You
first
right,
thing he
you
said
right,
If
you
was,
you look between the lines, yeah, but it ain't like she said it. Cause
Yeah, I guess
he
we're
also took
picking
me
on
down
that
too.
one.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
one of
yeah,
them.
It's probably one of those off-camera things. Remember, there was a 6-month time period, but I still feel like she probably cheated on him and was with that doctor for a while before. That's just like,
that's obvious.
I mean,
that's
to
conspiracy
me,
theory.
to me, like I feel like they wasted. Well, I mean, we can get into the Carnage thing. You know what I'm saying? If you stayed to the after the credits, Carnage.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he comes in at the end of the movie. I think Woody Harrelson's going to do a good job.
Hell yeah, he came out the woodwork.
But
with that.
I feel like they wasted it. Like, I feel like I hate when movies start with this and they give us a bum fucking villain instead of giving us the villain that we want, only to make us pay for the next movie because we want to see him in the next movie. No, give it to us like right now,
Another problem,
like, or at least halfway through the movie. Give it to us, and then maybe it could go off screen, and maybe he could come back. Like DC used to do that shit all the time with Batman. Batman will introduce villains, and then you won't see him again. So just give us something to.
Yeah.
Don't just give it to
something-
us in a
Yo, nah,
post
DC,
credit scene. Like,
that's the one thing I give DC credit for. All this since I was a little kid, they would hint at every villain in the world.
Yeah.
Well, another
all
thing
through the
too is
movie.
though, like with Carnage, and then with them using Riot, everything that Riot did is what Carnage does. Like, making the blades with his arms and all that. Like, so now you're
That's
gonna have like a
true, yeah.
repeat villain. It's gonna be the exact same, the exact same fight scene at the end.
And why Riot look like a big pimple? Like, why they make him look so
oh,
bad?
that's another thing. I didn't like none of the CGI, bro.
No,
Yeah,
I like
it was-
Venom.
it was-
Venom
I'm
CGI
I'ma
was
keep it.
fire.
It
Nah,
was-
I didn't
it
like
was
his. There was a
dated.
lot of spots in his CGI. I was like, that nigga just looked like a turd stain. Like,
And then
oil
like
spot,
they try to do it in the dark. So
Oh,
like
yeah, the
it
dark-
doesn't
the dark
show
and
it.
dark
It was
didn't
so
match.
dark, yo.
the dark and dark didn't match, but
It
that's
was
the
so
problem.
dark.
The reason, like him not having the white spider on,
Yeah.
would have made that pop more. You see, they tried to
fact.
give him like white veins,
Well,
but
in
it didn't work.
the
That was
ultimate
trash.
Venom, like that's how it is. He doesn't have a spider symbol on him. He just has white veins, like that.
But that
kinda
doesn't work at
imply to be-
nighttime.
No, I get
You know
what you're
I'm saying. Like,
but that's what
if
they're
you're
going
filming,
for. The
if you're
design.
filming a scene and you're doing the CGI and you want him to stand out in the darkness, the white makes him
Yeah,
stand
yeah.
out. You know what I'm saying? Makes everything pop. But him just being a black blob
Yeah, it
at
didn't
nighttime,
really work.
I was
Especially
like,
the end fight
nah.
scene with them both like fighting each other. It just looked like two
two globs
Big
fighting
oil
each
yeah,
other.
stain
two
and
blobs. Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
It looked
yeah.
like-
Oil stains.
It looked like
Oil
the shit
slick.
the shit in Green Lantern when he was fighting the doodoo.
Matter of
Like,
fact, it looked like those Rorschach blocks. Like, you know when they're like, what does this look like to you?
Oh
Yeah.
shit!
That's what that whole thing looked like. It was just it was a mess.
Yeah.
Like
You know what else I didn't like? Like, you know, superheroes usually give you that military villain. The military villain was trash. Like he wasn't like exciting at all.
oh, you're talking about like the bald dude. That,
Yeah, he
was
wasn't
chasing
dangerous,
him?
so he
Yeah.
got his ass kicked every time he came on the
Right,
field.
he never want to fight.
Like, it's usually some big dude or somebody with a lot of military experience that
Yeah.
goes after before we get to the real villain.
Right,
He was
right.
just whack. Him and his team was just getting destroyed. Like,
Right.
They was just
Beef
wiping the
on
floor
my
with that
mind,
nigga.
yeah.
Like, so like,
even how they did in Black Panther, the villain, the bald guy, like he was a great villain, and they still killed him off. Like mid movie, they could have did that.
That's
Claw,
true, yeah,
yeah, Claw,
They
yeah.
could've did
Yeah,
that,
well,
Claw.
the reason is because Claw, like, he's kind of like a silly villain for like what the MCU is going for, because his actual power, like, he has powers actually that he's like pure sound. It wouldn't have made no sense for the MCU because they don't have villains like that. I mean, it would be a cool choice to do, but it kind of worked that they killed them all.
I
You
think-
also have to remember,
But I think what he's saying is that they used that screen time
Oh,
appropriately,
I
and
got
it was a villain that actually had some type of weight.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
you.
doing
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. No, I got
This
you. I kinda
this
misunderstood
bald
what you're
guy,
saying.
he could have been 1,000 bald guys.
Yo, that nigga
He's
lost
generic.
every
He was-
fight.
He lost
generic.
every fight and then got his head bit off. Like he should have got fired with the security. I was actually tight being a former security guard. I'm like, why you firing me? This bitch, she live here. I mean, she work here. Like, she's the one who let him. It wasn't my fucking fault.
fact.
Like, why the fuck I got fired for? Like,
You gonna fire me for following the people who's
Word,
my
like-
boss?
yeah, but your man out here in the field getting beat up though. You ain't fired that nigga. Like,
Something I do want to say though, because we said we focus on all the negative. I just want to say like the positive. I feel like the relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom was definitely
Amazing.
on point.
Oh no,
Amazing.
no, it
That was
was
flawless.
mastered.
That was
was
great. That was
mastered.
great.
Masterful.
If the movie was
That's
more
what made
focused
the
on
movie
that,
so
it would have been a
good.
great movie. To be honest with you, because that's the stuff I wanted to see. Like every time like Tom Hardy was on screen, like I said, I'm not really like I was never really like, oh, he's the greatest actor ever. Like people like as soon as they say Tom Hardy, they act like he's like Leonardo DiCaprio, like he's the shit. Like I only seen him as Bane. All right, this is the only first movie I've seen besides him being Bane, and I was like, it was decent. I just didn't like the accent he chose to use. He sounded like Conor
Horrible
McGregor.
accent, right?
He sounded like Conor
That's
McGregor.
that's my only pick on him.
I just didn't like his choice for like the voice. Like he was like, hey, you know what? I'm just going. Like he sounded like Woody. What is his name?
Woody
No,
Harrelson.
What's his name? You know who I'm talking about? The director that
Woody
that had
Woody
that.
Allen.
Woody Allen. It sounded like Woody Allen mixed with Conor McGregor. Best part of the movie, hands down, was when he was in the building. And Venom was like, jump. And he's like, they just cut to him at the elevator. He's like, pussy.
He's like, pussy.
That was
That was
hands
my
down the
favorite
best
part.
part.
That was one of my
Yeah,
favorite
that was
parts.
That was generally funny. That was generally funny. I like
You
that.
wasn't expecting that
Yeah.
shit too.
But anything,
Nah.
anything that Venom said, like even if it wasn't meant to be funny, it was funny. Like the whole
you know,
thing, it was just
you
funny.
know why? Because in another superhero movie, he would have jumped.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
the fact
That's why
that
it works.
because I was thinking he was going to jump off and he was going to do like a
honestly,
scene.
yeah,
he was
like
gonna do
a-
that shit.
So the
Right
fact
after
that
the- yeah.
they didn't do that, I like that part. They didn't do that, and then he called him a pussy. That's why I was saying the Venom and Tom Hardy parts are the best parts of the movie. I just wish we had a little more of that.
It was a masterpiece.
Yeah, that part
Yeah.
was they got excellent. They got it was a good it was a fun time. I'm not gonna say it's a good movie. It was a fun time.
It was an enjoyable.
It was an
experience.
enjoyable experience.
Listen, when it comes
wrapped around the bad
inevitably in 2 years when it's on FX, I'll watch it again. But I'm just not planning on buying the DVD or going to see it again. But it was decent. It was not as bad. It doesn't deserve the rap it got. It was okay.
And it was better than a lot of other freaking superhero movies that we saw.
It was okay. It just was a bad movie overall, but it was okay to watch. It was enjoyable.
All right, y'all.
All right, man.
Stay
But go
posted.
go see the movie if you like bad superhero movies. You know what I mean? We'll be back, man. Stay posted.
Stay posted.